Extra Credits was sat in their office, thinking,
What opinions can we push as facts today?
and then it hit them. They can talk about game prices. I haven't actually watched the video yet. I've watched about 30 seconds in, and I can already tell that this is going to make a pretty spicy video. So, let's make another Extra Credits video because they're somehow still relevant.
Why are all of these $60 games trying to sell me loot boxes?
Corporate greed.
Why are all these $60 games selling me season passes for their DLC?
Corporate greed.
Why are all of these $60 games including microtransactions?
Is this just my massively high IQ, or am I sensing a pattern here?
Why are all of these $60 games trying to sell me DLC on day one?
Oh, well, that is because production normally ends a few months before the game's actually ready to be released. Well, that's how it should work. So the team usually teams usually have a couple of weeks or maybe even months to just make extra content to sell separately and optionally. It's better than sitting on their asses and doing nothing and just being paid for nothing. The publishers are happy, the developers get to make even more content and make an even bigger cut in a fraction of the time that it'd take to make an entire new game, so I think that's justifiable. It's annoying, but it's understandable. And you don't have to buy the DLC. Like, sometimes companies will fuck you over with it, like in Mass Effect, but that's why you should pirate all of BioWare's games, because fuck BioWare.
There are many variations, but the fundamental question being asked is the same. Why are they trying to make me pay more than $60 for this game?
And anyone who isn't a phony, fraud video game journalist who gets sponsorships to talk about how great microtransactions are, they'll tell you the truth, but you won't. So, I suppose that statement would be true if people only watched individuals, such as yourself, but for those of us who listen to real people, who actually have real opinions that they aren't paid to spout, it's pretty fucking obvious.
Today, we are going to answer that question.
Wait, has he always done that? Show the intro twice? Well, fuck it! I'm gonna do it as well. Smash that like button, DM me your mum's credit card details, share that video, and donate to my Patreon.
AAA games should not cost $60 anymore. And I'm going to spend the rest of this video explaining why.
Oi, you! Shut your mouth and look at my wad! Loads of money!
This is a journey into money. Loads of money.
You get the point. What I'm implying is that he was paid off for this video as well. Might not be true, but doesn't really matter if it is true, because he's been paid off to say stupid shit like this in the past, so these opinions aren't genuine, and I can't take you seriously if you think that he genuinely believes any of this bullshit.
The price for a AAA game was set at $60 right around the launch of HD consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PS3. That was around 2005, and the price hasn't shifted again since, but the value of the US dollar certainly has.
This can't be a legit argument, surely. Was this made on the... No, this can't be. This has to be an April Fool's Day joke. Like, this can't be... No, January the 24th. Fuck me.
The rate of inflation over the last decade has averaged out to roughly 2% per year. According to the best figures I can find, that means that the value of goods has inflated 25.34% since we started selling games for $60. And let's just round that down to a flat 25% to keep the math simple. So due to inflation alone, AAA games should be selling for $75 right now.
And that would be a relatively solid argument if you ignore, fucking everything else that had to do with the situation. Or most importantly, like the fact that DLC existed long before the 7th generation was even conceived. One sec. I'm gonna go and get you something. Be right back. Yeah? Sonic heroes, find you, confine you, define your place. This is Fable, alright? Yeah? Only on Xbox for a time being until this thing came out, then it was no longer just on the Xbox. Pretty sure they ported it to PC as well. I'm pretty sure you can buy Fable on Steam now. So this is false advertising. But yeah. This is Fable, right? This was a game on its own. You got the game. And then a few years later they released this. This is Fable with some DLC on it. It's kind of worse than microtransactions. It's everybody complained about Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin, but this is literally Lionhead Studios literally made Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin before Dark Souls was cool. Like, it's the same game, just with a bit of extra stuff. More quests, more weapons, more choices. It's DLC, essentially. Fuck, sorry about that. It's a microtransaction. Like, you're paying money for a game you've already paid for extra content.
But obviously, inflation isn't the only factor in play here. AAA games are all competing to have the best-looking game on the market, and that graphical arms race gets way more expensive with each new console generation.
That's nobody's fault except the publishers and the developers who are making these AAA games. Nobody's forcing them to market them as such. Like, if a AAA game was released at E3, and it was going to talk about how it had an awesome story, really immersive world and everything, but didn't mention the graphics at all, I guarantee it would get just as many sales. I fucking guarantee it. If any AAA big fat cat corporation is watching this, go on, do it. I guarantee you will still make a profit if your game is good. Or if you pay off the right journalists, which is what you'll probably do anyway. I know I am. Such a scumbag.
And sure, we have found a lot of clever efficiencies along the way to reduce costs. I mean, heck, we treat third-party game engines like middleware now, and that saves tons. But even with those savings, I would estimate that AAA games cost somewhere between 3 and 4 times as much to make as they did back in 2005.
Okay, let's roll with that. Call of Duty 2, right? Not Black Ops 2 or Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty 2, okay? The second release in this series. That came out in 2005, right? And according to this source, it sold about 2 million copies by 2008. So that's a good 3 years, yeah? Now let's use Black Ops 3 as an example, yeah? Black Ops 3 was released in 2015, so that has also had 3 years of sales. Call of Duty 2, right? Sold 2 million copies, and Black Ops 3 has sold 30 million. So even if you take into account that bullshit statistic that you pulled straight out of your arse, mind you have no facts behind that, you just thought it out of the top of your head to make it sound like, oh, look at how terrible these AAA industries have it. They have to sell their games for $60 and it costs them 5 times as much. Okay. Let's use your higher estimate because it's still completely overshadowed by how much these games make in today's money. 4 times more, yeah? That would mean Black Ops 3 would need to sell 8 million copies, or 10 million copies if we use the 5 times as much. Activision have still made 3 times more profit than they would have in 2005. You are full of shit. Your own variables debunk your bullshit. This is a joke. You are a joke. Okay? It's astonishing that people still take you and your shitty little channel seriously. Nah, I can't have that. Sponsors won't like that. Sponsors won't like that at all.
So, does that mean games should actually be costing somewhere between $225 and $300? Fortunately, no.
Well, according to your bullshit statistics that you pulled out of thin air, yes, they should. But fortunately, your statistics are full of shit. You have no sources behind them, just like every other fact you invent, and you're just spreading more misinformation, because you get sponsored to do so.
Things aren't quite that dire. It's pretty hard to pin down exact numbers on this, but the game-playing audience is a lot bigger than it was in 2005 too. Like, several times bigger.
So the first third of your video was just complete horseshit, just for the sake of... what? Video length?
and that means that there's a lot more customers to sell to, which helps to make up for that higher production cost, and can result in even bigger profits, if you manage to make a huge hit. Unfortunately, when you're counting on that higher number of sales to make a profit, if your game flops, well, you're going to be losing an impossibly large, possibly studio-sinking amount of money.
I don't see the issue here. Are we meant to feel bad for these money-grabbing companies because they can't squeeze every last penny out of us that they apparently need because of how expensive games are today, and you can't make shit games and get a profit out of it? Who fucking cares about shit games? Well, the fewer shitty developer studios that there are, the better, in my opinion. If only expensive, good games can succeed, that is a win for the consumer and a loss for people like you.
But since we're just focusing on what the average retail price of a game should be, let's just ignore that increased risk factor for now.
It's much easier to push an agenda when you ignore the facts.
Based on what we've seen firsthand working in this industry, much of which is under NDA, unfortunately, if I had to make a gut estimate, and understand this really is just a rough guess.
Holy shit, is this some actual honesty? Play that again, this is a milestone. This is the first time the fucker's been honest.
I would say that the actual retail price of a modern AAA game, without any additional ongoing revenue sources to support it, should probably be as high as $85 to $90 new.
No, before we laugh at him, let's listen to his justification, because he might make sense.
Now, understandably, that number freaks the industry out. Who outside of Australia is gonna pay $90 for a video game? I mean, we all saw what happened to the Neo Geo, and this fear has been compounded by the success of the mobile game market, which has sort of trained consumers to think that games should be astonishingly cheap. I mean, for a tablet game, $10 is considered expensive, even if that same game would cost $30 on the DS or $40 on Steam.
That's because Steam games are of a higher quality than mobile games. There's no debate about it. Like, that's basically a statistical fact. Like, they have longer development time, higher quality, everything, higher prices, bigger development teams, and so on and so forth. Like, the way the market is structured, like Steam games, the majority of them are meant for you to just sit down and play for maybe an hour, 2 hours maybe at the very least. Mobile games are cheap little things that you can play on the bus maybe, or sat on the toilet. Like, the fact that you're comparing these two markets as if it somehow kind of proves your point is just so disingenuous. Like, I still can't get over the fact that people take you seriously in 2018. Like, I know this is it's the year 2018, blah, 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 but this is legit. Like, how have people not wisened up to your bullshit yet?
For that matter, Steam sales have been training us to expect cheaper games too.
This video is nothing but shill. Steam are bad because they offer the consumers cheap games. Holy shit. Oh my god. Like fuck me, right? Like, how dare I use a service like Steam because I get games on the cheap, right? I'm part of the problem that these poor billion-dollar companies are facing.
And so the industry has kept that $60 price right where it is. And, I mean, maybe they're right to do so. A lot of people got pretty bent out of shape when the price got bumped up to $60 back in 2005. And there is something about the number 70 that just feels like, yikes, that's a lot of money.
But again, fuck the consumers, right? They don't matter. It's only the people who sponsor your videos that matter. Like, they're the only ones who should be getting all the money, right? Like, the consumers, like, fuck them. Like, they don't deserve a good service. They don't deserve to get their money's worth, do they? Not according to you. No.
Industry wisdom really may be right here. Maybe raising that standard price any higher than $60 would lead to a drop in sales.
If I see a game that I want, and the fuckers are charging $70 for it, I don't care how good it is. I'm not going to pay that. I'm going to pirate it, and I implore all of you to do the same. Because just bumping the price up isn't going to get rid of all of the problems that these fraudsters are pretending will go away if these companies are allowed to get away with that. Microtransactions won't go away. Day 1 DLC won't go away. Loot boxes won't go away. It's just another way to just milk even more money out of the consumer. And these guys know this, but they don't care, because these companies are sponsoring their fucking videos. Like, of course they're being their mouthpiece. So, yeah. If games start becoming $70, I implore all of you to pirate them. Go on, if you really want to play them, get them for free. What the fuck are they going to do about it? If enough of us do it, they're just going to give up. And then if they give up, they might stop being so exorbitant. If anything, I think the price of games should go down. Because, let's take a game like... Well, I mentioned Mass Effect 3 earlier. I think Mass Effect 3 should have been $30. And then the DLC, like for their ending, that they hid behind a paywall, I think they could have made the rest of the money from that. Or they could have just not hid the ending behind a paywall to begin with, But then again, I'm not BioWare. I like to think I'm a decent human being, so I'd never fit in at BioWare. Do you remember what that guy said about Total Biscuit? Like, yeah, that's who you're giving your money to. That's what the extra $10 is going to. Guys like him, his paycheck. Do you really want that? I don't. So, keep buying the games you like, but if they start getting exorbitant, don't be afraid to just boot up the old LimeWire. Wait, no, LimeWire went down years ago. What am I on about? Don't forget to boot up the old Pirate Bay. Unless it's blocked in your country. The thing about Pirate Bay... Like, they arrested the original creator of it, and he's currently serving a very long prison time. So what they did is they built, like people who liked the Pirate Bay, they built 230 more servers all across the world. And it's just a game of cat and mouse, like trying to shut down the servers as they build 10 more, shut down another one as they build some more. It's amazing. I love it. I love the internet, and I love the Pirate Bay, and I love... games and stuff, and I love all of you as well, so yeah, share this video please. I'm desperate for views. I'll see you later. Bye. Actually, no, that's the coward's way out. Let's finish this damn video.
But by not raising prices, we've sort of put ourselves in a tough spot. If we are going to cover our development costs, reduce the risk of catastrophic losses, and show our shareholders the return percentages they're expecting, we've got to do something to increase revenue.
Again, more bullshit. He's talking as if there's this crisis in the AAA industry when I proved earlier the opposite is the case. Black Ops 3 trebled. The profits for Black Ops 3 were 3 times higher than they would be in 2005. And that's not even saying it earned 3 times more. It earned a staggering amount more. But, in regards to how much it cost, according to his bullshit statistics, either he's full of shit, or he's full of shit. It either costs far more to develop games now, and it's way higher than 4 to 5 times, and in that case he needs to do his research, or he's being a corporate shill, which he's proved to be in the past. I'll let you shave away with Occam's razor, which one's more likely.
And we've tried to do that in a lot of different ways, to varying degrees of success. First, we tried increasing revenue by selling DLC.
Which has existed long before 2005. World of Warcraft. Do you think World of Warcraft are struggling to make profits? Do you think they've ever struggled?
But fans got upset if we sold that DLC at launch, and they didn't buy it if we released the DLC later.
Bullshit.
Next, we tried designing games to be perpetual experiences, games that you would play all year long, because then we could sell map packs and expansions over that game's longer lifespan. But supporting those games long-term turned out to be pretty expensive too, and it didn't really work for every kind of game.
Yeah, we all remember the failure that was Minecraft, or RuneScape, or the aforementioned World of Warcraft, right?
Besides, players can only actively keep up with so many perpetual games at once, so all of those perpetual games have to compete for attention, and the audience just gets locked down.
No, they'll find a game that they enjoy that's actually of high quality, and they'll play it. Whereas the lower quality competitors will die out. Which, again, like I said earlier, I think is a good thing. I don't want the market to be filled with shit. Yeah? Go and sell your fertilizer somewhere else. This market is for fruit and veg, yeah? And sweeties and energy drinks, yeah? Yeah, I want this. I don't want dog doo-doo, yeah? I don't have to look at it when I'm browsing the nice things, yeah? Am I making sense? Did that analogy work? Or was that... Tell me in the comments.
It's like the MMORPG flood all over again. And so now we are trying the next thing, loot boxes. We'll come back to the specific topic of loot boxes in a couple of weeks, but this is basically where we're at.
Next video, depending on how many views this one gets, of course.
And now we as an audience have to decide what we want. Are we okay with paying more for these games at retail?
No, agreeing to pay more for a product that we already don't like is just gonna give the false impression that we are happy with the way things are running. We need to be louder with our complaints. We need to demand things from these people that we're giving money for a service for. Yeah? We don't want to like, share, and subscribe to videos from shills like yourself. You're not going to fix the problem. You are part of the problem. You excuse shitty behavior for enough green. Yeah? Maybe this is hyperbole, yeah? But I don't trust someone who makes videos about why microtransactions are good on a video that's sponsored by a video game company, yeah?
$70? $80? Maybe even more?
How about $30? Or how about make it free? Then you can add as many microtransactions as you want. Like, nobody complains about World of Tanks or Candy Crush having paywalls. Because they're free games. Like, there's no upfront cost. Like, you don't have to pay to have the privilege to pay for more. Yeah, when people buy a game, they just want... They expect a game, yeah? Like, they shouldn't have to pay $90 for something that you could have gotten for 60, 30... Not 30, like 3 or 4 years ago. Like, the absolute state of the AAA market right now, and the fact that you're excusing it, speaks volumes. You know, like, really high volumes! Sorry about that. Actually, I'm gonna turn the volume down in post-edit, because that was naughty. I shouldn't be doing that.
The data suggests that the answer is no, but if that's the case, well, we're gonna have to learn to live with loot boxes or microtransactions or whatever other model the industry attempts next.
No, we don't. Developers and publishers, they're businessmen. There is a market for this kind of thing at the moment, because people like you make video after video about how great it is, and about how we should accept it, and how it's good for the industry. My jacket from Wish.com arrived. Best £10 I've ever spent, I think. It's a bit small for me, because I forgot that most of this shit's made in China, and it uses Chinese sizes, so... And it shows off my big manly physique, so... Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, back to the video. But as I was saying, these guys are businessmen, and if they see a market, and they see a way of capitalizing on a market, if they see they can get away with this, get away with that, it all piles up. And so, we need to show them that they can't get away with this. We do not appreciate this, and we will not stand for it. Yeah? So if it's like a free game, if it's like Fortnite, right? Yeah, just sell whatever you want, as many cosmetics as you want. But in a game like Overwatch? No, that's fucking ridiculous. That's greedy.
And by learn to live with, I don't mean put up with predatory crap. I mean we're gonna have to find a way to reward developers for making good supplementary income systems that aren't overly aggressive or in any way required to play competitively.
No, let me guess. Journalists like you get to be the judge of whether something's predatory or not. Obviously.
Monetization systems that leave you satisfied and actually increase your enjoyment of the game you're spending dozens of hours on.
So let me get this straight. Microtransactions are okay as long as you think they're okay. Do you think you could clarify a bit more instead of just being vague and just... look at the dancing little person. Like, look how happy she is. Like, this could be you if you just give these companies extra money for a game you've already paid for. Like, I don't know who you're fooling. Maybe someone with the IQ of in the double digits, maybe in the single digits. The Call of Duty fan base, perhaps. But a PC Master Race RPG lover like myself, I'm gonna need a little bit more than a silly drawing of a woman dancing with a game. Like, I'm gonna need some I'm going to need an example for one, like an example of when, like, in my face, microtransactions can somehow help my experience and make my experience all the more enjoyable, at being able to throw real money at a fictional problem in a game and then that problem disappearing. Like, I don't see the appeal. Like, I will need one example, just one, maybe two examples, and then I will be happy. I'm not talking about amazing DLC, like the aforementioned Fable the Lost Chapters or Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. Like, some microtransactions, okay? Like, you have run out of energy, buy more energy now, or wait 24 hours. Like, that kind of shit. Like, how on earth could that possibly improve my enjoyment of a game?
Even if you choose to spend very little. But make no mistake, those really are our only two options right now.
No, it isn't. They're not our only two options. Like, you're giving us an ultimatum. And it's not true. There is a third option. Support good games with little to no DLC. Like, I reviewed Vampire a few days ago. Go and watch my review of Vampire. If you think it's your thing, then go and buy it. Like, reward these AA masterpieces. Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call Vampire a masterpiece, but it is definitely a good game. Reward AA developers, or maybe even the AAA ones who know what they're doing. Like, buy The Witcher 3, yeah? Buy Dark Souls. Like, the sooner we show these people that we're not going to stand for all of this money-grabbing bullshit, the sooner it's going to stop.
Because, like I said at the beginning, AAA games just should not cost $60 anymore.
You're goddamn right they shouldn't cost $60. They should cost $30.